I think the internet has a sense of power and not a sense of power at the same time. So it's that weird thing where somebody can post a bad review, and then somebody will sue that person for that bad review. But at the same time, 100,000 people can sign a petition on the White House website, and nothing will happen.
Travel, safety, eating out, entertainment. Over the past 2 decades, we have increasingly become more dependent on technology to fix our everyday problems and facilitate our lives. Want to get a massage in New York? Check out the spa reviews on Yelp. What about where the next crimes are likely to occur? Well, that's possible too, as we see here with the new PredPol system in California. Even internet tries to make our lives easier. As you click on links, your search results will gradually become tailored to your tastes. Evgeny Morozov, in his book To Save Everything, Click Here, denounces this new trend of techno-solutionism, where digital technologies are created to ameliorate what might not necessarily be problems. He also claims that the companies in question often disregard important social questions like privacy when focusing on innovation. Morozov examines 4 aspects of techno-solutionism: predictive policing, digital middlemen, terms and conditions, and the filter bubble. Information we volunteer to big data has the capacity to reveal more about ourselves than we'd like. The classic case of Target figuring out that a teenage girl is pregnant before her father finds out proves it. But big data techniques are capable of even more than that, extending far beyond the supermarket. Law enforcement agencies are beginning to employ similar techniques in a practice known as predictive policing. The goal of predictive policing is to combine big data and technological advances in order to prevent crime before it ever happens. Thus, just as Amazon's algorithms make it possible to predict what books you are likely to buy next, similar algorithms might tell the police how often and where certain crimes might happen again. Ever stolen a bicycle? Then you might also be interested in robbing a grocery store. However, because this practice relies so heavily on statistics, it has the potential to vastly ignore areas in which crimes are underreported. These areas also tend to be the places where the most crimes occur, thus leaving vulnerable areas deprived of good police work. Police departments are also starting to utilize social media platforms like Facebook or Twitter to determine exactly who is committing crimes. By taking data from statuses and updates of actual criminals, these sites are capable of comparing them to other users and determining who else is likely to be on the wrong side of the law. These sort of analytics-based policing do have the potential to greatly reduce crimes nationwide, but we must be wary of putting too much faith in statistics, and we must be sure to subject all forms of policing, including advanced techniques, to intense scrutiny in order to avoid abuse. The advent of the internet has been hailed by many to be the end of the gatekeepers that are editors, publishers, and physical stores. This end of the middleman is coined as the term disintermediation. Advocates and believers of disintermediation believe that the internet will allow us to be free of middlemen and all their biases and hidden agendas. Take the everyday person's ratings of services and establishments through Yelp and Google, which replace professional critic reviews. In fact, Yelp has even allowed reviews of non-traditional establishments.
That's right. They are now reviewing prisons on Yelp. Although you do get your standard restaurant gripes like service took forever, was there for 25 years. Check out this actual 4-star review of the Arlington County Detention Facility by Wendy L. Quote, "At no time did the officer violate any of my constitutional privileges and even gave me a juice box after I said I was thirsty." Yes, you heard right. They have juice boxes.
While this empowerment of the everyday consumer suggests liberation from the elite professional middleman, these liberators ironically become gatekeepers themselves as the ratings and reviews on Yelp or Google gain more influence on potential customers.
I've seen reports of people saying that like Yelp will call them and say, if you give us this much money, we'll remove the bad reviews, or we'll stop stopping people from posting positive reviews, which they've done apparently.
According to a Nielsen survey, 93% of Yelp users claim to purchase something from a local business only after using Yelp. Furthermore, instead of disintermediation reducing the number of middlemen, what has occurred is actually what Morozov terms as hyperintermediation, as companies and other middlemen gain easier access to consumers thanks to the internet. For every new program that accesses your personal data, a user must agree to what is commonly known as terms and conditions. But do we actually read them? Researchers have revealed that the iPhone keeps track of your location at all times, and this data is saved to a secret file. This means that Apple has made it possible for almost anybody, whether a jealous spouse or private detective, with access to your phone or computer, to get detailed information about where you've been. Unlike cell phones, which can only share this information with police forces and other organizations, Apple devices are not regulated in the same way and record location data whether or not the user agrees. In addition to location tracking, services like Facebook and Apple have the ability to do whatever they want with your data, and by clicking I agree, we are signing off on it.
By clicking agree, you are also acknowledging that Apple may show your mouth to the butthole of another iTunes user. Oh boy.
Facebook has recently deleted a key section of their terms of service, which limited the use of a user's content through the expiration of their license. Facebook now has access to even a deactivated account's content. While Facebook claims that they only provide data to advertising partners after removing personally identifying information, these clients are allowed to associate data they have already gathered about you, such as email addresses or previous visits to their sites, with the data that is provided by Facebook. Essentially, be careful of what you share, because once you post it, it's there forever.
I'm gonna click on decline.
Your filter bubble is kind of your own personal, unique universe of information that you live in online. And what's in your filter bubble depends on who you are, and it depends on what you do. But the thing is that you don't decide what gets in. And more importantly, you don't actually see what gets edited out.
One would think that with all the information available at the simple click of a mouse, we would become open to a wide range of ideas and opinions. However, the reality is that rather than expanding our horizons, we tend to get lost in the filters created by whatever we show most interest in, when using search engines like Google, liking pages on Facebook, or even favoriting posts on Twitter. The filters divide people into categories and can dictate which advertisements we see on different sites, what we are exposed to on Facebook, and even which results come up on search engines.
Yeah, no, I'd rather have an unbiased opinion. Like anything that's available to me, I'd like to be able to access. That way you can form a correct opinion and not be pigeonholed.
It kind of freaks me out when you can, if Facebook ads on the side when it's something that's according to your taste, because you don't realize that those things are connected, like what you're doing on Facebook or what you're searching up, and then everything else you do on the internet, you feel like anonymous on the internet, but you're not.
By obtaining all your previous search data and preferences, websites create algorithms that result in the creation of separate and isolated ideological bubbles. The term filter bubble was created by Eli Pariser, current CEO of Upworthy.org, who believes that filter bubbles are limiting the information that is available to us. Two major corporations who change to meet our wants and needs are Facebook and Google, both of which create appealing news feeds and filtered search results. However, Evgeny Morozov believes the internet exposes us to more views, and tailored searches aren't the actual problem.
No, it's a bugging device.
Technology is not the problem. That's why I started by saying that it's not technology that I'm skeptical about. It's the current configuration of political and economic power in venture capital. That's the problem. Problem is not in screens. It's not in devices. And it's precisely people who are on the other end who try to frame it as a problem of technophobes versus Luddites. It's not that problem. That problem is gone. It's all a matter of money and economics now. You have to argue on that field.
Technology has provided us with innumerable innovations that facilitate our lives. Yet how much of our ability to question things have we lost in this process? And do we really know the true costs of these technological fixes? For Evgeny Morozov, imperfection, ambiguity, opacity, disorder, and the opportunity to do the wrong thing are constitutive of human freedom, and any concentrated attempt to root them out will root out that freedom as well. Since diversity and the capacity for moral questioning are at the root of our understanding of freedom, are we not, through our dependence on this techno-solutionism, accepting a society controlled by technology? What we must therefore ask ourselves is not whether or not we should give up technological innovations, but whether we are autonomous enough to accept the imperfections that allow a society to grow.